As if she knows a damn thing about hard work, that prissy, bratty woman.
I was actually trying on dresses. Can you believe how many different white gowns these stores have? It's all starting to blur together for me, ha ha ha.
Ah, that's what you were up to. You know I tried calling you like a zillion times, right? How long can it take to try on a dress?
You'd be surprised. I feel less like the bride and more like the cake at this point, but at least we'll really wow him at the reception. Anyways, is everything okay? What did you want to call me about?
Oh man, I was hoping to do this over the phone, but here it goes nothing, we need to break up.
Max, I know you might be nervous about this whole thing, but the wedding's tomorrow, remember?
It's not the nerves talking, I've just met someone I like more than you. That's all. I met a girl I think I'd be better off marrying, so I think it'd be best if we just nixed our plans for tomorrow. No hard feelings, right, Liz?
No hard feelings. Are you out of your mind? This is the kind of thing you bring up way before the wedding, not the day before. And what's this crap about another girl? What happened to the guy who proposed to me and told me he'd make me the happiest woman alive?
Yeah, I met her after, genius. We were engaged for years, these things happen. Let me be clear, my heart's set on this girl, and I just don't love you anymore, that's all there is to it.
You don't?
If you really care about me, then you want me to be happy, right? If that's the case, then for me to have a happy future, I need to let you down, and I'd like to do that gently. Look, I know this is hard, it's just, well, I'd rather marry a princess than a peasant, you know.
Wait a second. Are you saying I'm not rich enough for you, or something?
Basically. Your family's been nothing but farmers for, what, 3 generations at this point, right?
Yes, but what does that have to do with anything? What, are you saying we're poor just because we're farmers or something?
That's not too far off, lol. Farming's dirty work, for dirty people, literally. I can't think of a worse way to make a living than to be out there all day just to end up covered in filth. I don't want to be harsh, I just don't want a dirty wife like you, that's all it is.
How could you say something so horrible? This isn't exactly, you know, the kind of thing I was expecting to hear from the guy who said he had nothing but admiration for my parents when you met them.
I was just being polite, not that you'd know anything about that based on your upbringing.
Polite. All right then, Mr. High Society, why don't you tell me what you really think of my family, huh?
Okay, here goes nothing, your family were even bigger country bumpkins than I could have ever imagined, LMAO. I knew from the moment I first stepped foot on that filthy farmland, I'd have to wipe my shoes of your dirt and put the marriage machine into reverse gear.
You jerk.
It was just when I was on the verge of defeat that an angel came into my life, a girl who'd sweep me off my feet, and the daughter of a CEO, no less.
A what now? When you said you wanted a princess, I thought you were exaggerating or something.
So now you see, my hands are tied, I love her, but I've been stuck with you as my fiancé. I'm not the kind of guy who wants to work forever, I want the good life. There's nothing wrong with that, that's just capitalism and human nature working hand in hand.
Sure, nothing wrong with that, even if it means cheating on me with some spoiled, dolled-up daddy's girl?
Well, that girl's daddy is your boss, so I'd be careful about who I start a catfight with if I were you, lol.
Wait, you mean Emma? She's who you've been going out with behind my back?
I know getting you to cancel the wedding now is a big ask, but you need to face the facts, you just can't stack up to her in any way, shape, or form. So, do me a solid and just let me go, okay? I'm sure there's plenty of guys out there who are less ambitious than me, let's say.
I don't believe it. You go so far as to leave me for a woman I know, humiliate my family and flush the whole future we planned for down the toilet. Just so you can marry into wealth?
I prefer to think of it like I'm removing some obstacles between myself and achieving the American dream. Anyways, good luck with all that.
1 hour later. Hey Lizzie, I just wanted to say I'm really torn up about all this stuff with Max, you know? Us ladies shouldn't have to fight, we're too classy for that. I really wanted things to go smoother, I actually wanted him to tell you the truth sooner, but you know how he can be, lol. Anyways, I know getting married can cost a pretty penny, so for whatever sort of reimbursement you need, I'll get my dad to write a check for you, okay?
I don't care about money, Jessica. I want to know why. You're young, you're beautiful, you're rich, you could have any guy in the world you want wrapped around your finger, so why choose Max? Why go after my fiancé and ruin my life?
Isn't it obvious? I hate your guts, girl.
Wait, what did I do?
Honestly, I was ready to dump Max as soon as I lured him away from you, but he seemed nice and stupid and, well, mentally pliable enough that I could keep him around. The guy's like putty in my hands, and that's the kind of resistance-free man I can consider for marriage, lol.
Okay, but again, why me? Aside from the few times we've interacted at work parties, I didn't even think we had some kind of connection up until now.
You're right, we don't. Not directly, anyhow, and you're still managing to be a thorn in my side. Ever since you showed up with your goody two-shoes act, all my dad does is talk about how hard you work and how I could learn a thing or two from you. Me? Learning from you? It makes me sick just thinking about being like you, seriously.
Now that you mention it, I remember your father telling me about you when he gave me that award last year. He said he hoped I would rub off on you at work since we're the same age and everything.
Oh yeah, that was definitely the night things began to turn sour for me. Look, I don't care who you are or what brought you here, and I don't want to. All I know is that you're making me look bad with your hardworking, humble, country bumpkin persona, and it's pissing me off. That's why I needed to get my revenge on you, and Max became the perfect, gullible vector for it.
You'd seriously go through all this trouble just to make yourself feel better.
Just to make myself feel better? Girl, there's anyone on the planet I care about more than myself. I love myself more than you could ever love Max, and anyone who gets in the way of that needs to be punished severely, understand? I can't think of a better punishment than for you to be crying your eyes out in your frumpy little wedding dress, all boo-hoo, woe is me. It's just too perfect.
I never thought I'd provoke anyone just by working my hardest.
But don't you see, Lizzie, I'm working hard, too. In fact, I've got it all planned out. Once we're married, I'll convince Daddy to make Max next in line to take her over the company so that I won't have to and I can just retire and live the good life. In the meantime, he'll get Max a job high up on the ladder here. Now my little boy toy will work so hard, it'll make me look even better than you.
Please, don't try to compare yourself to me. Besides, your father is a good man. There's no way he'd allow for such a spiteful, nasty plot to overtake his company.
Wow, what a suck-up. Listen, as far as Daddy's concerned, I'm his little princess, and he'll do whatever I ask him, okay? In fact, I've got a great idea. Why don't I ask him to make you Max and I's personal assistant? I'm sure he'll think his award-winning employee will be up to the task. Maybe you'll even learn some common sense from being on your knees at my beck and call, lol.
You want me to do what?
Oh, that doesn't sound like a good deal to you? Well, that's okay. I can always just tell him I need you to clean your cubicle out ASAP. I'll give you the day to choose, submit to me for good, or polish up your resume, desperately trying to get someone to hire your sorry butt. The next day.
Hey, Thanks for going ahead and canceling the wedding. Emma should have wired you the money for all the services and catering and everything like that. Let me know when you get it.
I got her money, not just for the wedding but for settlement, don't worry. Thanks a lot.
Don't mention it, money is no object for a guy of my status now. Besides, I figured if I was gonna leave you heartbroken, the least I can do is pay for the emotional damage, you know? I'm not a monster.
You mean get Jessica's father to pay for the emotional damage? That's very chivalrous.
Well, I'm gonna marry her. And once I do, her money might as well be my money, right?
So you were serious about that after all.
Of course, as if I'd pass up a chance like this to move up in the world. Our talks over the phone about planning a crazy, elaborate wedding are already getting pretty exciting, too.
Isn't it a little too soon to be planning that sort of thing?
Maybe for you, I'm living it up though, lol. Honestly, the hardest part is trying to please her. She really wants to have her cake and eat it too. She's talking about an overseas ceremony, arranging flights for all the guests, the works. Between transportation, accommodations, not to mention the ceremony itself, that's in the ballpark of tens of thousands of dollars. Can you believe it?
Sounds less like a wedding and more like some kind of opulent getaway, at this point.
Hey, only the best for the boss's princess, right? He didn't even flinch when Jessica mentioned the projected numbers. All that money must be chump change to him, you know. My whole world's been flipped upside down. This is what it must be like to be a big shot, lol.
A big shot, huh? Well, if you start to see that kind of money as nothing, I don't think there'll be much point in trying to talk to you anymore. Our ideas of money, and not to mention hard work, are so different at this point, we might as well be speaking different languages. Rather, we might as well be aliens.
I understand. You want to try to win me back, is that it? You think you can show me somehow that a heart of gold is worth more than a mountain of it? LMAO.
Whoa, I never said anything like that, trust me.
Sorry, Liz. I know it hurts to hear, but I just don't feel anything for you, and Jessica is the one for me. I need a queen in my life, not a dirty farmer's daughter. Now do me a favor, and beat it. I've got more important things to do with my life than give you a shoulder to cry on.
Fine. So long, Thomas.
Goodbye and good riddance. Seriously though, thanks for being a good sport about things and not fighting this. You saved me a lot of trouble.
Don't mention it. You certainly let me down easy, and besides, I'd rather be left at the altar than married to a scoundrel.
When you say things like that, I don't feel quite as bad for breaking your heart.
I'm quitting my job and moving back to Idaho, by the way, so this really will be the last time I'll be in the way of you and Jessica. I wish nothing but the best for you both.
Oh, no way. This is too good to be true. You're actually packing up and heading back to that filthy farm. I don't believe it.
I told myself a long time ago that if I was still single in my 30s, I'd leave this town and continue my family's work, so I've made up my mind.
Life sure dealt you a rotten hand, huh? You're a past your prime, you're alone, and now you've got dirty, sad, cheap work to come home to, lol. Phew, all I can say is good luck, and baby, you're gonna need all the luck you can muster.
Well, we're making $40 million a year, so I don't mind getting my hands a bit dirty.
Wait. 40 million.
Like you said, I am a fourth-generation farmer. There's a lot of pressure on me to keep the business as profitable as it has been, but I'll certainly try my hardest.
No, hold on a sec. When you said 40 million, are you sure that was in a typo? You didn't mean 4,000 or something?
40,000 isn't nearly enough to keep the farm sustainable. I thought you were Mr. Big Shot now. This is simple economics, Max.
Come on, you and I both know farming's a two-bit line of work, the city's where all the money's at. There's no way your family is turning that kind of profit, or anything close to it.
You're entitled to your own opinion, I suppose. But the days where farming was poor work are pretty far behind us. My family's worked out a good business model, and we can afford a strong group of employees.
What are you talking about?
It's all independently owned, too. We grow and sell everything ourselves, to customers all over the country, so please don't belittle me with this talk of dirty work for dirty people. I'm proud of this family.
No, I'm not falling for this. I went to your family's house, and it didn't exactly scream millionaire mansion, okay? If you're as liquid as you say, then why live in some old town house? Why drive some beat-up 10-year-old car? What about that mud-covered tractor in the back, huh? Only a broke-ass farmer would still be using something like that.
It's farming equipment, it's not meant to be fancy. It gets the job done, that's all we needed to do. If you think a Lamborghini is expensive, try shopping for a brand new combine harvester.
That hunk of junk can't be as expensive as a foreign car, could it?
Yup, even writing it off is a work expense on taxes, that kind of equipment a fortune. It totally changes how we can grow and harvest crops, though, so it's easier to think of it as an investment.
This is crazy talk. Why didn't I hear anything about this when I met your parents?
It doesn't seem especially polite to meet my parents and immediately start grilling them about finances, does it? Besides, I don't remember my old man asking you about your yearly salary. Do you?
That's totally different, and you know it. We're talking millions of dollars here, tens of millions of dollars. If I'd known something like that, I wouldn't have. I mean, I definitely wouldn't have.
You wouldn't have decided to cheat on me and sleep your way up the corporate ladder? He wouldn't have told me you wanted to break up while I was trying on wedding dresses?
No, what I meant to say was,
Save it. I did the right thing by keeping a weasel like you away from the family business. Anyways, I'll be out of your life now, like you asked for. Enjoy a future without our produce, Max.
1 hour later. Don't think you've come out on top of this one, farm girl. Your family turned a profit off all that country soil, big whoop. It only took you, what, 4 generations. At least my folks made their fortune in their lifetime, lol.
Sorry, what's this about? I broke it off with Max, already. You've won, okay? You humiliated me, you got your boy toy, and now I'm leaving the company entirely. I've learned a valuable lesson about not crossing you, and anything else shouldn't matter, right?
And yet, I still have more teaching to do apparently. It's time about being a classy woman. Drop the innocent girl shtick. I know you've flaunted your dirty money in a last-ditch attempt to get Max to look your way again. That is desperate and sad, Lizzie.
Trust me, I'm not flaunting anything, and you can certainly have him all to yourself. He is an idiot, you're an idiot, and together you're like 2 peas in a pod.
You think you can get away with talking to me like that?
Like what? I'm just telling you the truth. You talk a big game about using Max and having him wrapped around your finger, but the truth is you're just like him. You want power, you want fortune, you want people to bend over backwards for you, but you don't really want to work for it, do you? You're just content to kick your feet up and leech off of people who can finance your meaningless lives. Am I wrong?
That is absolutely not who I am. I am not a leech or anything like it, and you'd better apologize for that now, if you know what's good for you.
You're right, leech is a bit harsh. Would you prefer I call you a tapeworm or a tick or something?
Shut up, you ugly floozy. Maybe that kind of talk is acceptable in whatever backwards part of the country your parents are from, but I'm gonna make you sorry for crossing me. You and your family are lower than the dirt you work with, you hear me? No one gives a damn about all the blood, sweat, and tears you pour into growing vegetables that cost $1 or whatever in the grocery store. 'Cause guess what? One day, a tornado or something will blow through town and turn your little veggie dynasty into dust.
Maybe so, but it would only take a single call from me to sink your father's company, so I wouldn't exactly go around praying for our downfall.
A single call.
You guys are in the middle of starting a restaurant, remember? Maybe you don't. You never really seemed to be that interested in the business, after all. Anyways, your father had been toying with the idea for years, but it wasn't until he found out about my family's business that it seemed lucrative, if we cut a deal.
Wait, Daddy wants to partner with your family to start a restaurant?
I'm actually impressed how hard you're willing to avoid knowing anything about where your money comes from.
Look it off. You've obviously got some snippy rug pull planned, so just do it already.
Let me make this clear. Your mommy and daddy want to open a restaurant, but they can't do that without my parents as business partners. You following me?
Sure, but why them? Why not literally any other of these farmers, huh?
Well, Howard, sorry. Your father and I were talking the night he gave me that award. When the restaurant idea got off the ground, he remembered what I told him and looked into our business, and sure enough, he was impressed. He asked me, very kindly, if I would talk to my parents about the possibility of going into business together. It's called networking, maybe you've heard of it?
That damn award, why does it always go back to that award?
Here's a bitter pill for you to swallow about that night. Your father doesn't compare you to me just because we're the same age. Howard looks at me as he sees someone the same age as his daughter, born into a family with a healthy business and plenty of money, but one difference. I'm willing to work for the life I want, but you? You're not just averse to work, you're allergic to it. You'd go so far as to sabotage my career, my future and my personal life just because you don't like me. That is as sad and pathetic as it gets, Jessica. While we're on the subject, when I handed in my resignation, I actually thought it would be best to tell Howard directly, seeing as we have quite a rapport.
You brought Daddy into this?
I didn't bring your daddy into anything, he's my boss. You really didn't think through this plan to get rid of me much, did you? Think about it for just a second. If I had told my superiors, it would have gone up the chain of command, and he would have fanned out anyway. Howard, by the way, was flabbergasted that a promising employee like myself would want to quit so suddenly, so I had no choice but to explain myself.
So what exactly did you tell him? You didn't, say anything that would have gotten him mad at me, did you?
Tough luck, I figured he deserved to be told the truth. He's been nothing but kind to me, and I told him I still wanted to do the restaurant deal, but when he heard what you've done, he was practically fuming. In fact, he went so far as to call it unforgivable, and apologized to me profusely, as a father and my superior, in his own words.
Oh come on, was he even apologizing for? I didn't do anything and he knows it. I bet you're just twisting his arm with the steel thing, or something even worse.
Frankly, I don't care what you assume is going on between me and your father, but are you sure this is the best time to be talking to me? Before I left the office, he said something about how you'd gone too far and that it was time to cut you down and put you in your place, or something like that.
Oh my God. He's calling me now, and he won't stop blowing up my phone with texts. You're right, he's pissed, and he's telling me I have to start paying my own rent.
Oof, that sounds pretty urgent, so I'll let you go. I look forward to seeing you cut down, myself.
The next day.
Liz, I need your help. My plan to become CEO at your old job is, well, it's going up in smoke, you know. I didn't even make it past the front gate to their house when I went to meet Howard and his wife. They just told me they didn't care who their banished daughter marries.
Banished? Wow, he was serious about cutting her down, I'll give him that. Definitely a man of his word.
So, fine, I won't marry Jessica, but I put my whole future into becoming the new CEO, and then he just up and tells me he's already handpicked his successor.
Well, that's no good. I guess you'll have to get up, dust yourself off, and go back to your old job, huh? Really put in the work from the ground up and all that. That's how Howard made his money, so I'm sure you'll be able to follow suit.
I can't do that, I already quit my job and everything.
You quit? That was a little hasty, don't you think?
It seemed like the smart thing to do when I was talking about overseas weddings with Jessica yesterday. How was I supposed to know the chance to become CEO would vanish right before I had the chance to make it happen?
So, what you're saying is you're unemployed.
What do I do? I can't be jobless at this age, that's career suicide. Even if I get hired at a new company, it'll be like going back to square one. It's all Jessica's fault, she told me I didn't have anything to worry about as long as I married her. She already burned $10,000 on wedding expenses, and now she wants me to pay her back.
That's very classy and ladylike of her, I see why you like her so much.
Look, you know I don't have that kind of money just lying around. But when I tried to explain it to her, she just went off about how she didn't want to marry a broke lowlife like me, anyway. As if she knows a damn thing about hard work, that prissy, bratty woman.
Whoa there, settle down, Mr. Big Shot. Remember what you told me about money? That should be chump change to the new you, don't worry so much about it.
The only chump here right now is me. Say, Liz, I don't suppose us get married is still on the table, is it? We could get together and make things right between us, couldn't we?
In your dreams, chump. Actually, you know what? I hope I reject you in your dreams, too.
I'm begging you, I'll do whatever it takes, you can put me to work on the farm, just please, for the love of God, marry me.
No thanks. I'd rather have a bad harvest than eat anything you'd grow.
What?
You asked me to let you and Jessica live happily ever after, so that's what I'm giving you. Just remember, to me, you'll always be two peas in a pod.
After that,
Jessica herself came to apologize to my parents in person, though I suspect that was one of Howard's conditions for letting her back into the family. I heard she and Max got married pretty soon after they let her back into their lives, but they didn't get the money for that elaborate overseas wedding they'd hoped for. I haven't seen the photos, but rumor has it, Howard made Max shave his head right before the wedding. He sure has an interesting way of welcoming a son-in-law. They're living together now, though probably not happily ever after. Max has found a job that doesn't pay much and Jessica's allowance from Howard is slim nowadays. Even though Max's job is not what they hoped for, Jessica's still set on not working now that she's married, so Max has had to pick up night shifts at the corner store to make ends meet. I guess her learning anything was wishful thinking. It's probably not the good life they thought they were getting, but for my money, it's definitely the life they deserve.